fans around the world, the Trilogy is here. It is time to get into zone. Introducing to you first, the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner, standing with head trainer Sergio Gonzalez. Tonight wearing the colors of his homeland, blue with white. He officially weighed in 129.2 pounds. This in-ring veteran brings an outstanding record of 41 bouts, 32 victories, including 21 wins coming to by way of knockout with 9 defeats. He's the former WBA world title holder. Desde Managua, Nicaragua, here is Rene Alvarado. And across the ring stands his opponent with head trainer Enrique Centeno. Tonight, wearing maroon trunks with gray, he officially weighed in at 130.1 pounds. Tonight, he steps into the ring with an impressive record, 29 bouts, 25 victories, including 20 wins coming to by way of knockout, and 3 defeats with 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Maracaibo, Venezuela, here is the reigning, defending WBA Super Featherweight Champion, the Kid, Roger Gutierrez.
Bueno, muchachos, ya yo di las instrucciones en el camerino. Vamos a una pelea limpia y que gane mejor. Dios los bendiga.
Vamos, vamos. So as you heard, a WBA belt is on the line in this fight. It's one of 43 belts the WBA has handed out across its 17 weight classes. You know, the relationship between sanctioning bodies and fighters, it should be symbiotic. The WBA's relationship with boxing is parasitic. They are fee-gobbling bloodsuckers who have done nothing but damage this sport. And until they clean it up, boxing would be a lot better if all the fighters with WBA belts, including the winner of this one, throws those belts in the trash.
Tell us how you really feel,
Books,
Chris.
manos arriba.
And that's one to grow on. Here we go. For the WBA Super Featherweight Championship, Roger Gutierrez in the maroon, Rene Alvarado, the challenger, in the blue. Forget what belt's on the line. These two men will have a war no matter what's at stake.
I was about to say, a belt is not needed for what these two are going to do. I mean, both of them have a win against each other. This trilogy should be fun.
Gutierrez showing so much confidence this week. Sergio, I was surprised. He acted like he was fighting on the undercard against some, gatekeeper guy that he was going to destroy. There was no concern at all in Roger Gutierrez.
I mean, once you put that belt around your waist and you're called the champion, things change for you. You carry yourself like a champion and you believe you are a champion. That's exactly what he's doing. And Gutierrez,
Nice right hand from Alvarado, and that will wake Gutierrez up.
Gutierrez told us he fought the wrong fight the first time around. The second time around, we saw what he did. 3 knockdowns in controlling fashion. And now in the third fight, if he keeps that distance and keeps Alvarado from getting on the inside with that volume punching, then he can have success.
Sergio, you beat Vernon Forrest, became a world champion. You lost the rematch. What advice would you give Gutierrez?
Not take immediate rematches. I took mine
it's too late for that,
in 2.5 rounds, but he had more than 8-9 months to prepare for this one, and he fought in the beginning of the year, so it should have been more than 2.5 months.
As Sergio mentioned, Gutierrez broke his hand in the first fight. So that was one of the things stacked against him as he lost to Alvarado. In the second, the right hand worked very well. 3 knockdowns, including a dramatic one in the 12th and final round.
And look at how comfortable Gutierrez is throwing that jab right there. I mean, his face is really relaxed right now. He wants to hold the belt, and he told us as soon as Alvarado comes in the inside, I'm going to clinch. I don't want to fight the inside. I'm going to keep this on the outside of discipline.
And that's what Alvarado said he worked most on during this new training camp, how to deal with those clinches.
Again, the right hand scores for Alvarado.
I think you have to remember, too, Alvarado, to repeat, He was the better boxer in that fight against Gutierrez. Gutierrez, the better puncher, and that made the difference.
Gutierrez pulling back a little bit, and Alvarado's actually getting closer with that right hand. I'd like to see him pick up his hands and actually stay on the inside, not just pull back like he did right there.
Yeah, it's hard to win a fight like the second one when your opponent Gutierrez had a 10-8 round and a 10-7 round.
See, Gutierrez is keeping that left hand low and pulling back. Alvarado's bonded with that right hand.
Bout, manos arriba.
Round 2 scheduled for 12. Nice start for Rene Alvarado, who landed 2 right hands that made Gutierrez step back.
Yeah, he was pulling back, Gutierrez is, and I want to see him jab a little bit more. He's getting a little bit too comfortable there, and Alvarado was letting those shots go, coming up short, but at least getting comfortable throwing that right hand.
Are you afraid that Gutierrez is going to rely too much on his power?
You know, that's what happens when you have heavy hands like that, and it gets good to you. Gutierrez, like we mentioned, had that first round sensational knockout of Eduardo Hernandez. He's had good knockouts. He has heavy hands, and whenever you put down this Rene Alvarado 3 times in your last fight, you know it's a matter of time, but you don't want to rely on it too much against a fighter like Alvarado. Peck him apart with some jabs.
Balance there for Gutierrez.
Yeah, I thought Alvarado caught the foot of Gutierrez going backwards.
Gutierrez keeps pulling back. I've never seen him do that before. He just pulls back and he doesn't counter or get low.
But is he pulling back in order to cock that right hand and fire it straight up the middle?
Well, I mean, I hope so, but right now, it just looks like he's pulling back. And that's a no-no in boxing. You don't pull back like that with your head up in the air. Alvarado's doing the right thing right there. He went with a right hook downstairs because he's going to try to set him up with the overhand right soon. If you're Alvarado, you just jab your way in and bang away at the body. Double and triple up the jabs to the chest.
The over-under in Las Vegas was set at 10.5 rounds, so they expect this one to perhaps go the distance again. First fight ended in a 7th round TKO victory for Rene Alvarado.
Yeah, and that was largely due to the cuts that Roger Gutierrez was dealing with. But he was completely outclassed in that first fight, which was remarkable, made it remarkable to see what a difference we saw in him in that second fight. So this third fight at 26 years old, he feels pretty good.
Yeah, Roger Gutierrez has scar tissue built up already. He cuts often in many fights. And that's the reason he doesn't like fighting on the inside again, because, you know, the clashes of heads.
Right now, the WBA World Super Featherweight Champion is Gervonta Davis. Do you see him ever coming back to defend that title, Chris?
No, and nobody cares. I can't get into these WBA belts. There's 4 of them at 130 pounds.
There's regular, there's interim, there's super, and there's world. So you're right, Chris.
No, stop. Mira, no entre con la cabeza.
See, I like that. Alvarado
Okay.
on the inside punching with that loose hand. Catching. Gutierrez pulling back.
Roger
Bout, manos
Gutierrez
arriba.
seems content to just sit back on that jab and throw one power punch at a time. I'd like to see a little more aggressiveness from him in this fight.
Waiting for this fight to heat up, and inevitably it certainly will, at least based on their first 2 fights together. But Gutierrez hasn't done his part so far.
Gutierrez is fighting really relaxed. And you want to see that in fighters, but sometimes it's a little bit too relaxed. And look, I don't like him pulling back like that. He should be dipping down, bending his knees, and choosing one side, the left or the right, and get away.
You know, one punch we haven't seen from Gutierrez yet is that short uppercut. That's what changed the tide of the second fight, I should say, in that 3rd round. It was a big weapon for him.
Gutierrez, I mentioned, so full of confidence. He said, well, I'm a different fighter now as a champion. In the first fight, he was more experienced than me. Now I have all the experience I need. What can he do differently? He's 32 years old. I'm 26. This will be my night.
If Gutierrez keeps pulling back
No,
like
sube la
that,
mano, sube la mano, vamos.
with hooks to the right hook. So jab your way in, throw that right hook downstairs. That's going to keep him from moving, and then you can start your combinations.
Limpio, limpio, ustedes mismos, break, compa limpio.
Good jab right there by Alvarado.
Va con la cabeza.
If he can go down to the belly with that jab and double, triple him up upstairs, he can be effective because Gutierrez keeps pulling back.
Remember, it was round 3 in their last fight that Gutierrez stepped up and dropped Alvarado twice. You think it's a case of perhaps Gutierrez trying to save some energy for the later rounds?
You know, he's fighting a little bit too stiff for me. I want to see more upper body movement. You get a little flow going. Get some rhythm in there.
No quiero que le dé.
I also think Sergio Alvarado is boxing a little bit more than he did in the second fight. In the second fight, he was applying a lot more pressure and forced Gutierrez to react.
What he did right there, Gutierrez, that's what I want to see more of. He bent down and he smothered the attack of Alvarado instead of just pulling back. Stay in the inside and pull him up just like that. Then you can punch in the inside.
Box, mano arriba.
So round 4 scheduled for 12. We'll look at Chris Mannix's scorecard momentarily. But right now, Gutierrez is still trying to get into a rhythm. Relaxed, but almost to a fault so far, as it appears that Alvarado picking up these rounds. Not having to do too much. But Gutierrez does have fight-changing power.
Yes, he does. And you know what? It serves him well to fight at a distance because he's prone to cutting often. So I like what I'm seeing a little bit, but I also want to see more passion out of him, more interest in getting something going, not just pulling back and being content at keeping your distance.
I disagree. I think he needs to get in there and start applying some pressure. He has been outboxed by Rene Alvarado in 2 fights. In 2 previous fights, he was outboxed. He won the last one because he scored 3 knockdowns. I think he needs to start to show some aggressiveness here because he could look up 3-4 rounds from now and be down big on the scorecard.
Well, let's look at your scorecard right now, Chris Mannix. How do you have it 2-3?
I've got 2 rounds to 1 in favor of Rene Alvarado. Gutierrez, I edged in that last round, but that could have gone either way. I thought he landed a couple of decent power shots that gave him a little bit of an edge over the activity of Alvarado, but it very easily could be 3-zip on all the scorecards.
And not to belabor the point, Chris, but you do know Roger Gutierrez is from Venezuela, the home of the WBA. Couple of nice jabs from Gutierrez.
Yeah, those jabs were a little bit more with commitment, a little bit more power behind them. That's what you want to see. It wasn't no more lazy jabs from Gutierrez. I want to see some passion out of him now.
He's got a tattoo on the left part of his chest. No boxing, no life, which Canelo Alvarez brought to fame.
There we go. See that? He let that right hand go. Gutierrez did with mean intentions. And that's his best punch, that right hand. Long right hand. Set up with nice pecking jabs.
And downstairs, Gutierrez picking his shots now.
And that shot downstairs is going to set up a straight right hand upstairs.
Good counter out there from Gutierrez, who's starting to have a pretty good round here in the 4th.
Yes, he is. And you can see it with the body language of the kid. He's starting to feel it now. And the punches that he's letting go are a little bit more emphatic. There's that chopping right hand that knocks down and knocks out several people with. It's a chopping straight right hand. And if you're dipping in that direction, it's bad news.
So then We've
Box.
seen
Mano arriba.
patience, for better or for worse, from Gutierrez through these first 4 rounds.
We've seen patience and him maintaining the distance, which is what he didn't do in that first fight when they fought, and it cost him. So I do like the fact that he's fighting behind his strategy if this is it, but I also want to see a little bit more passion out of him coming in this 5th round. There you go, nice jabs backing up now. He's not just pulling back anymore. Now he's sticking that jab out there in the face of Alvarado.
I guess there's a big difference between leaning back and shuffling back.
Absolutely. When you pull back with your head in the air, that's dangerous. That's pulling back right there, and you're bound to get caught. But if you're pulling back with your knees bent and jabbing in your opponent's face, that's just backing up with the stick.
Box numbers, not jumping off the page. 25 punches landed for Gutierrez through round 4. 41 for Alvarado, who's been busier as well. Not the slugfest or all-out action war we were hoping for, at least thus far.
Maybe that could develop very quickly.
Wish it would. I promised a rock'em sock'em fight.
When two fighters are so familiar with each other, it makes it that easy for them to engage in a war. But it also can do this. There's a flip side to that, where there's a little bit too much respect, because you know what the other can do. And right here we see both fighters, both champions, respecting each other a little bit too much halfway into this fight.
Well, I can understand the respect that Alvarado would want to show Gutierrez after getting dropped 3 times. But if you're Gutierrez, I think you should be engaging a little bit more, going in there and trying to create a firefight.
Unless he feels that he's, as a champion, he's comfortable staying at the end of that jab.
Óyeme, ven acá.
Clash of heads.
2 veces estás entrando con la cabeza. No es necesario. Estamos peleando bien. Mírame cuando te hable, ¿ok? Vamos, box. Vamos arriba, vamos. Limpio, bonito,
As
vamos.
many times as Roger Gutierrez has been cut,
Bonito, yo estoy en
maybe
todos
he's
lados,
just tired of getting cut as well. Once you start fighting on the outside like this, getting good behind the jab, you know you can win fights like this. It's not as exciting as getting on the inside and mixing it up, risking a cut, but at least you're building points and hopefully winning rounds.
30 seconds to go here in the 5th round. Again, this is for the WBA Super Featherweight Championship, which currently belongs to Roger Gutierrez.
Stop, stop, stop. Nadie va a tirar, nadie va a tirar.
Nice right hand by Alvarado. Double his jab going in, landed that right hand. There's that chopping right hand.
That caught him good. Best punch landed for Roger Gutierrez tonight.
And that's his best punch, Todd. If he can hide it behind jabs, that's going to be a dangerous punch.
Box, mano arriba.
The early rounds certainly belong to Alvarado. Sergio, do you feel like we're starting to feel a momentum shift here in the middle rounds?
I like the way that Gutierrez unleashed that right hand at the end of that last round, because that's what you want to see. It's bad intentions with that right hand. That's his favorite punch. I just wanted to see a little bit more passion out of Gutierrez, and I saw a little flash of it at the end of that 5th.
Let's take a look at Chris Mannix's scorecard through 5 full rounds.
Yeah, I've got 3 rounds to 2 now in favor of Roger Gutierrez. Alvarado has been the more active guy.
Right hand, an overhand right from Rene, and Gutierrez now holding on.
That's the kind of punch we haven't seen from Alvarado.
And that's the kind of punch that I said you can expect whenever you keep pulling back with your head in the air like that. You're bound to get time. And Rene Alvarado finally caught him pulling back like that.
And he senses Gutierrez is hurt because he continues to let his hands fly and is now pushing the tempo.
Nadie va a tirar, vamos.
If I were Alvarado, I'll just concentrate on the body. Let those elbows come down and try that overhand right again.
No, limpio, no, nadie tira, nadie va a tirar. Yo estoy aquí, vamos.
That's
Okay,
Rene Alvarado's forte, getting on the inside and banging away at the body. That's exactly the fight that Gutierrez doesn't want.
Yo estoy en todos lados, vamos. Okay, stop.
Good 1-2 for Gutierrez. Now they're starting to open up a little bit. This is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, Gutierrez tried to land that short right uppercut, just missed the chin of Rene Alvarado.
I saw that. I was about to say the exact same thing, Chris, because that's a punch that dropped Alvarado last time. you can see that Gutierrez is actually trying to set him up for something, but Alvarado doing the
Limpio,
right thing.
limpio, suéltalo. Vamos, Juanma, limpio,
Trying to
vamos.
seize the moment here in the 6th round, but could he get over aggressive?
Limpio, vamos, ustedes limpio. No.
It only takes one solid shot from Gutierrez to put you down. Alvarado learned that in a very hard way in the last fight.
Suéltale la mano, vamos, suéltale la mano.
Gutierrez doing the right thing right there. Instead of pulling back with his head in the air, he decided to stop and clinch Alvarado. I want to see that because Rene Alvarado along the overhand right by pulling back like that. So start dipping down on the inside and smother the attack of your opponent.
There's uppercut, but there's answers from Rene Alvarado. Good flurry from him. This may have been his best round.
Once again.
All right, so the fight beginning to heat up now as we enter the 2nd half. Round 7 scheduled for 12. You're just joining us. This is the rubber match of a trilogy. Roger Gutierrez winning the last fight by a decision. Rene Alvarado winning their first encounter by a stoppage. Co-main event still to come. Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Egis
Limpio,
Kavalauskas.
limpio. Vamos, break, vamos limpio, ustedes mismos. Con la mano arriba.
Right hand lands, coming in for Alvarado.
Alvarado switching it up instead of a 1-2.
Vamos,
He came
ustedes
in with a
mismos.
2-1. Trying to mix up the attack. Gutierrez just waiting for Alvarado to come in and time him with that big right hand of his, but he's still pulling back. Gutierrez is.
Despite those 3 knockdowns in their 2nd fight, it was still a razor-close decision. I feel like we might be headed back in that sort of direction in this one.
Vamos, stop,
Alvarado
stop.
was able to get in the inside in those middle rounds and make it his type of fight with volume combination punching, backing up Gutierrez. But right now, there hasn't really been much inside fighting for Rene Alvarado.
Gutierrez has won 6 straight fights since losing back-to-back bouts to Hector Tanahara and Oscar Duarte. Those 2 guys had a combined record of 27-0-1. Gutierrez telling us, after I beat Rene Alvarado tonight, I wouldn't mind getting another crack at Oscar Duarte. I want revenge.
That was a hell of a fight. And Duarte,
There's an uppercut.
Oscar Duarte, very strong. Bull-type fighter. Would love to see that fight again. Gutierrez landed a nice short right hand.
Voy aquí, yo estoy aquí, dame.
2 jabs, so he's very disciplined and very patient in this fight, Roger Gutierrez, and you can see that he's looking for that well-timed right hand. It's only going to take one to put down Alvarado. He has heavy hands like that. Both missed big right hands right there.
Gotta appreciate Alvarado pushing the tempo, going right after the bigger Gutierrez. Round 8, and I think it's time for one of these guys to start to separate themselves. It's been a pretty close contest.
Yeah, and you can see in both their corners, they're excited and admonishing their fighter in the corner, saying, let's go, let's get it going, especially in the corner of Rene Alvarado.
Let's look at Chris Mannix's scorecard through 7 full rounds.
Yeah, you've got it 4 rounds to 3 in favor of Roger Gutierrez. This has been an incredibly difficult fight to score so far. The activity goes to Rene Alvarado. He's thrown that jab out there a lot. He's tried to apply different types of pressure like you see right there. But every 30, 40 seconds, you see Gutierrez respond with one big shot. And for a judge, it depends on what you like. Do you like a little bit of the pitter-patter, or do you like that one big shot?
Alvarado landed a nice short right hand to the gut of Gutierrez that I think caught his attention. You can expect.
Yeah, it's a big right hand. Alvarado got frozen in his tracks.
You can expect no punches to fly right there if that body shot hurt him, because Gutierrez is going to have to get some respect out of Alvarado.
Limpio, limpio. Vamos.
Ooh, left hook from Alvarado stands Gutierrez up straight. Power punches are starting to land more frequently for both of these men. Anytime Gutierrez gets on the inside, he does try to clinch Alvarado. And Alvarado told us his sparring partners were told before they got in the ring with him, try and clinch Alvarado as much as you possibly can. He needs to work on getting out of clinches. How's he done in that respect?
Well, Gutierrez has done a good job of staying disciplined, and that was the game plan to do by him right there. Not fighting on the inside and keeping Alvarado from getting his attack going. So if that's part of the strategy, good for him. It's a quiet way to rack up rounds. For Alvarado, I don't know if he's respecting that right hand too much, or he hasn't been able to time closing the distance. Either way, we don't have the fight that we expected so far.
Well, you would expect, Sergio, with Alvarado taking the kind of, I don't want to say beating, but being knocked down 3 times, you would have to come into this next fight with a little more respect for the guy's body.
Right.
No, stop. Nadie tira, vamos.
There's no doubt Alvarado is one fighting with more urgency. A small cut on the right eye of Alvarado beginning to bleed.
Limpio, suéltalo. Tiempo.
Success in that
Manos
last round as
arriba.
well.
Round 9 scheduled for 12. Gutierrez the champ, Alvarado the former champ, but now the challenger.
No, stop. Segunda vez. Sí, está bien. ¿Está bien? Vamos limpio, bonito, vamos, no lo dañemos, vamos.
In their first fight, Alvarado forced a high-octane pace that Gutierrez could not match, and the result was a TKO win. The second fight, Gutierrez, 3 knockdowns of Alvarado. This fight fought at a different pace, not a ton of action, no one's been hurt. More of a boxing contest.
A lot of discipline being shown by Gutierrez, and Alvarado, I would think, would have to start getting a little bit more aggressive in this, trying to get inside. Jabbing away at the chest. Gutierrez, get your way in, especially when you have him against the ropes like they
Limpio.
You got to throw your punches.
Nadie tira. Voy aquí, vamos.
Which fighter would you rather be right now, Chris?
You know, probably Gutierrez, because he's got the power to change the fight, whereas we haven't seen that from Alvarado. But it's close.
It's close, but I'll beat Gutierrez as well. Nice chopping right hand by him right there.
I don't think either one of these guys, though, should be comfortable that they're up on the scoreboards.
You can sense the urgency from the corners, but not so much from the fighters themselves. Perhaps that will change as we approach the championship rounds.
No, limpio. Okay, stop.
I'll tell you what, I didn't expect this much discipline being showed by these guys. I mean, it's more than just respect, it's discipline. The way that Gutierrez is not engaging, keeping his distance, and he said he was going to do that as part of his strategy, but the fact that Alvarado hasn't been able to fight his fight either, get on the inside and just punch away. Keep backing up Gutierrez if he's giving you that pulling back.
And now Alvarado's trying to stay right in his face, not giving him an edge.
Estoy aquí. Sí, tranquilo. Estoy aquí, vamos.
There you see
Bonito.
Gutierrez doing what he said he was going to do. Clinch anytime Alvarado got on the inside.
That's a short left hand from Alvarado.
Haven't seen a ton of uppercuts from Gutierrez. Those were the game changers in the second fight.
Because he's not letting Alvarado break that distance. So that's one thing that he has been doing with that discipline, keeping that distance. But right now, this Alvarado just needs to punch at anything he can land it.
Bout, mano arriba, vamos.
Round 10, scheduled for 12. It's Venezuela versus Nicaragua.
I usually like to say that in trilogies, there's usually a convincing winner, either by TKO or one-sided fashion. But
Limpio.
this is another
Vamos, limpio, ustedes mismos,
back
vamos.
and forth type fight. I don't know if it's discipline or respect both these guys are showing, but either way, it's not a one-sided fight like I expected.
Chris, how's your scorecard look?
It's very close at this point between these two guys. 86-85 in favor of Rene Alvarado. Alvarado has picked up the pressure these last couple of rounds, landed some good shots. Gutierrez seems to be looking for that one big right hand, and it's just not been there consistently yet. Kind of cocking that right hand, Sergio.
Yeah, he is. No, listen, and the couple of times he's landed, it's laser, just like that one right there. So you know that Alvarado's respecting that. But once they get on the inside, that's Alvarado's fight. He just needs to punch away.
Top-to-box punches through 9 rounds. Gutierrez has actually landed 13 more than Alvarado. That's a bit surprising.
Okay,
Seems like Alvarado's been busier, doesn't it?
Voy aquí, vamos.
Seems like he's coming forward, trying to get something going, but if you're just looking at the clean punches and the jabs that he's sticking out there, Gutierrez is doing a good job maintaining the distance and following the game plan.
Con la cabeza. Stop.
It's not what we wanted. We wanted a little bit more, but it's discipline.
No, stop. Nadie tira. Yo estoy aquí, tranquilo.
Some of that, Sergio, comes with maturity. Go back to 2017 when these two met for the first time. Gutierrez looked completely out of his element. Didn't know what to do against the Alvarado pressure. Fast forward to the last time out earlier this year, and he was a much more polished fighter. We're seeing more of the boxer in Gutierrez that we saw in the last fight.
Yeah, and look, you can see that he's growing, he's evolving, he's taking his career more serious now that he's a champion. This is discipline. This is following a game plan all the way to the end. And if this is what he wanted, not to mix it up in the inside, like you said, fighting on the outside of the jab, waiting to land that right hand, well, he's following the game plan, in my opinion. But whether he's winning these close rounds is another thing.
But at what point do you say, let's change the game plan? We're being disciplined, we're following the game plan, but right now, we are clearly winning this fight. We've only got 2 rounds to go.
I don't think anybody's clearly winning anything though. He's looked largely the same from the first round to where we are right now.
Well, they're saying that he has nothing, or that he's doing nothing, or that he's not really trying to do anything. So to take advantage of that is what they're imploring in Alvarado's corner.
So these are the championship rounds.
No.
And an extremely close fight.
Estoy aquí.
Neither man can be confident right now.
¿Quieres tiempo?
Sounds cliche, Sergio.
Sí, está bien.
Could this boil down to who wants it more?
Hey, listen, the way it's panning out, maybe even a draw. I mean, that's what happens when you don't really have, no one that really wants it or taking the bulls by the horn.
Limpio.
And to me, I mean, that's the way it's unfolding. It's a draw-type fight. You get both fighters,
Limpio.
whether they're following their game plan or not,
Stop,
no one's taking
stop.
the initiative to take control.
No, nadie va a tirar.
Earlier, we saw how relaxed Gutierrez was the first 3 or 4 rounds. I mentioned he might be saving some energy perhaps in the later rounds. Who looks fresher to you, Sergio?
They both look fresh. They both look like they're still, like they looked in the beginning of the fight.
Limpio. Go.
They haven't really punch that much. They haven't really hit in combinations. They're looking more for the 1-2s.
So much for my guarantee of an all-action war. Yeah, that's the last time I say that.
We got a chess match.
Suéltalo, suéltalo, suéltalo. Vamos.
But we still might get that in our main event. Virgil Ortiz Jr. and the Mean Machine. This crowd will come alive when the Grand Prairie, Texas native makes the walk.
Stop.
And among the accomplishments of Virgil Ortiz early in his career, he has become a pretty decent draw here in the Dallas area.
Vamos, Juan limpio ustedes mismos, vamos. Con la mano arriba, vamos. Ok, stop.
By the way, I do have to say this. What a home crowd or hometown Frisco has been. So many nice people here. Hotel staff we stay at, everyone in the arena. Everyone I've met in Frisco, Texas has been very genuine, very sweet, very polite, and just great people. So salute to all the people here in Frisco.
That's because Sergio picked up all their bar tabs.
I've been very frugal. And I agree with you. I mean, beautiful people in Texas. Nice right hand right there by Gutierrez pulling back.
Este es el último salto. No lo dañe, vamos a hacerlo bonito, vamos, ¿ok? Box, manos arriba.
So
Dos campeones,
3 minutes to
bonito,
go.
vamos.
Gutierrez and Alvarado, the WBA Super Featherweight title on the line. It is as close as it could possibly be, or so it seems. Sergio feels a draw coming on.
It doesn't seem it is because there was urgency in the champ's corner and Roger Gutierrez's corner. They wanted him to pick it up. So usually if you're comfortable with the lead as the champion going into the last round, you feel comfortable cruising. They're not comfortable in this last round.
Scorecard 105-104. A lot of those rounds were swing rounds.
Yeah, there's only been a handful of rounds that I've scored that I've felt they have been definitive rounds for one fighter or the other.
Limpio, stop. Box.
Little blood coming out of the left ear of Roger Gutierrez. So far, no blood from cut, so that's a win right there for the kid, because he's prone to cutting easily.
Gutierrez throwing more punches, staying on his toes, taunting a little bit, sticking the jab out.
No lo vale, stop. No lo vale, vamos. Que stop, suéltale la mano, stop. Vamos.
It could very well come down to this 10th round, or 12th round, excuse me.
It has been a very disciplined performance by Roger Gutierrez. He has not once taken himself out of his game plan. He's worked behind that jab. He's looked for opportunities. He's been hit. And he may not escape this fight with a win, but he has fought the way he wanted to fight.
Keeps throwing that right hand up, Sergio.
That's because he feels he's winning and he's having success in this final 12th round. He's pecking away with that jab, keeping Alvarado at bay by checking him with that right hand. He feels he's winning this fight.
Some swelling on the left eye now of Rene Alvarado. He certainly looks worse for wear than Gutierrez does, although the left ear does continue to bleed. 15 seconds left. Let's see if they slug it out to the final bell here.
I don't think they will, because Gutierrez was disciplined from round 1 to 12, and it'd be foolish for him to mix it up now with 10 seconds left.
Well, that will do it. Both men think they've won. What say you, Chris Mannix?
I edged it to Roger Gutierrez, but this fight could easily go either way.
I would say Gutierrez by...
Ladies and gentlemen, here For the Ford Center in Frisco, Texas, we go all 12 rounds, going the distance. And now we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. Judge Sergio Gaiz scores the bout 116-112. Same score for Javier Alvarez. And Judge Roberto Torres scores the bout 115-113. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision. And still, the WBA Super Featherweight Champion from Maracaibo, Venezuela, the Kid Roger